Hi, my name is Carolyn Moore, and I had the unfortunate experience of trying to have a refrigerator repaired by Gentry Appliance Repair, also known as Appliance Fanatic. And I paid for services that I never got. This guy, Dane Gentry, is a fraud. And he's a fraud for one reason. He's in it for the money. He's going to probably eventually get caught, but I am here to tell you do not use his services under no means necessary. Find someone else or just buy your appliance, but do not use Dane Gentry or Gentry Appliance Repair. He also, like I said, work under the business of Appliance Fanatic, but he is nowhere near like he pretends to be. And do not look in that direction for services. And I want to give you two names that this company is going up under. The name that I called because it was, of course, on the website in my neighborhood and in and around Nashville, Hendersonville, Goodlettsville, and O'Hickory, which is where I live. The name this company goes up under the name of Appliance Fanatics Installation and Repair. But they also, and I didn't know this until I did my research, that it also goes by the same name, goes by Gentry or Dane Gentry Appliance and Repair Installation Company. So there's two different names that this person is going up under. So my case is I found the name on the website, and the advertisement says that he does appliance work in and around the city. So I called him, made an appointment to have my refrigerator repaired. Now, taking consideration, this was August 14th. So we're looking at degrees of 104 outside. So obviously, if you're compressing your refrigerator goes out, that's a something that you need immediately care on. And so he said, "Oh, I can come back out." He came out 2 days after I called him, and he said that there would be a $79 service call. I said, no problem. So when he came out to do the service call, he took about 2 minutes to make a diagnosis. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if he's got a lot of experience, that's probably normal. And then he said to me, he said, your compressor has gone out. And he said, you can either do one of two things. I can fix it, or he said, you could just buy a whole new refrigerator. I said, okay, well, how much is it going to be to fix? And he said, well, it's going to take about a month to get the part. Thinking, well, if it takes a month, I might as well buy one. But I said, okay, I do this. I said, if I get the part, can you come out to install it? And he says, yes. He said, I'll charge you $550 to come out and install it. And so I said, I'm sure I can get the part in less time than that. I mean, this is business. Why would somebody wait that long? So I went on Sears Repair Appliance Company, order it that day. And it came out in 4 days. And this guy tells me it's going to take a month. I go on the phone as soon as he leaves and order it, and they get it to me. They said, we can get it to you in 3 days, which they did. So I paid for it. It came in 3 days, just as I said. And so I called him back and I said, Dane, I said, I have the part, the compressor is here. I'm ready. He said, well, give me 2 days. I'll be out to do it. And then he said something that really kind of startled me. He said, how did you get it that fast? It usually takes longer than that. I said, this is your business. You should know how to get an appliance in less time than that. This is not what I do, but I know how to do it. So he said, well, then I need to use your company. Okay, well, it's a joke. So I left it on. Anyway, he came out 2 days later. And he said, and I said, how long would it take to do that? Now, he had already told me that it usually takes about 2 to 3 hours to put it in. I said, okay. So he came out, he installed it, and it took him less than 20 minutes. So that sent up red flags. So when I went in to the kitchen where he had finished putting it in, I said, you finished already? He said, oh, yeah, I'm finished. And so I paid him. I gave him cash, and I said, I need a receipt. He said, you know what? He said, my girlfriend is in the car. She'll give you a receipt. She'll send it by email. And I looked out the door, and when I went out to get it from her, she hid down. So that's in another red flag. Why is she hiding in the car? And why would she be in the car in 104-degree weather? But if that's how they, that's how they operate, that's fine. So I went back in the house, and something just alerted me that none of that sounded right. So I called my old repair person who had gone out of business. He had retired, and I gave him the whole synopsis of what had happened. And he said, "Oh, that doesn't sound right." He said, first of all, he took too short of a time to put it in, and then he said, "Now, what did he tell you about how long it would take before it starts to work?" I said, "He told me it would take 48 hours, and not to plug it up for 48 hours." And I'm thinking, that doesn't sound right. Why couldn't I just plug it up and let it, generate? He said, "Did he put Freon in it?" I said, "No." He said, "He didn't put a Freon in it." He said, "You know what?" He said, I hate to tell you this, but there's a scam going around. And it's been going around in this area for quite some time. He may be one of those that are doing that. And so I said, "Oh, wow." And I said, "Well, you know what?" I said, "He left the number on the email that his friend had sent him from the car. Let me call him." And I called him. I said, "You know what?" I said, "First of all, you tell me to wait 48 hours to plug it up, to plug up a refrigerator. I've never heard of that." And I said, "And besides," I said, "the old repairman told me that was not right." And so he said, "Well, see if it's working now." And this was, like I said, in a day after, because he told me to at least wait 24 to 48 hours. So I did the 24-hour call, and I said, "I'm not getting any coolness, none whatsoever." He said, "Well, I'll be back out there." So he said, "Give me by the end of the day." I waited all day, never showed up. Called him the next morning. He said, "Oh, I'll be out there." Never showed up. Call him the next day. Never showed up. Email him. Never showed up. Email the assistant who sent me the email, my receipt by email. She never responded. I emailed her again. She never responded. So this went on for 2 weeks. Never showed up. So then I go online, and I start to look to see if there were some complaints. Complaints all over the all over the web about this person. And he did the very same thing to everybody else. Everybody else. He never follows up. So I had the repairman that I know, and I ended up buying one, but I had him to take off the back where he had installed the compressor. He installed the compressor with black electric tape. Never had been put together, soldered. He just put tape around it and left. That's why it only took him about 10 minutes at the most. He never installed it. It was never actually installed properly. So, long story short, when I started to research his company, they've had numerous complaints about the very same thing. Any appliance that he attempted to repair never got repaired. All of the customers did the same thing I did. Call him, ask him to come back out. He never shows up. That's his MO. And so, yes, he is a part of the scam that is going around, in terms of getting the service call money first, and then never ever coming back to make the proper repair on an appliance. Well, I'm not going to get an apology from him, because he's never returned the hundreds of calls and emails and texts that I've sent. And I've got a whole book of, the number of times that I've reached out to him by letter, email, or whatever. He's not going to respond. So I don't know how I can get my $970 and $24 back from him. I just don't see that happening. But I should hope that he never does this to anyone else. Now, if he wants to refund me, I would certainly accept it, because the repair caused me to have to buy a new appliance and spend money that I hadn't planned on spending, which was, like I said, it was close to 4,000. So if he wants to give me back my 924, he can do that. He can call me. He knows my number. It's in his phone a million times. It's on his email. It's also on the email of his assistant. So if he wants to do that, he can do that. But I doubt that that would happen because if he haven't given me the decency of a return service call, then I doubt if he's going to want to give me my money. And then he's never given it back to anybody else. I don't believe because there people are still making complaints against him to this day. So I don't think that that's going to change. I just hope that we can shut him down. To be honest with